Hello, this is Dr. Justina Agnieszka-Chevalier. This is a series of videos entitled Non-Killing Lifestyle. In this series, I will address how to determine personal quota and what that quota is. In many of materials presented by targeted individuals, quota is obtained by calculation of daily needs, for instance dietary needs, and translated into income. Because of meat industry that creates fear and programmed elaboration of diseases based on age brackets, similar to obtention of information from a book or National Geographic about an animal, that animal is dangerous because in the past some humans have observed that animal have eaten another animal to be able to survive. These are not unlike how humans behave. This is similar also to a domesticated cat, a cat and a cat in a zoo, that without any assistance, if given food such as Benevo, which is food that it does not contain dead residues or dead DNA of mammal DNA, is friendly, and there is no marker of hatred, which is then translated in what I call an unnatural instinct to be targeted by other individuals, be it animals or humans. An example of that type of targeting is parasitosis. Parasitosis is resolved when we stop killing. What does it mean? A cycle of parasitosis is a cycle in which killing is marked in the ecosystem as being okay or being acceptable, which causes that a human who tortures or traps, for instance, pigs, is then targeted by cysticercosis. How? By ingestion of these animals, because cysticerco is an animal, in meat of killed pig. If we humans do not kill pig, that cysticercosis is not going to make it to the human body, and therefore it will not develop inside the human body, and it will not start to expand, for instance, in the brain to kill, and we will not need, for example, a neurosurgery to remove that cysticercosis, or a removal from a muscle of that parasite. Again, this is because we assume it is an item, pig is an item for a fee, that we actually ingest it disguised in conditioned in certain spices or smoked, and that then contains animals that mark human as a predator or aggressive to the ecosystem, a species called Homo sapiens, and kills us. And then we require things like disinfectants. We require it's called disguising. I call it the disguising based on my knowledge in epidemiology. We need to then disguise the fact of killing. So we scrub the surfaces. We disinfect that meat, wash it. We also administer drugs or bactericides, which also kill additionally to those pigs. And slowly those other animals, which are microorganisms and also parasites, become smarter and smarter to destroy human who consumes in the area of the ecosystem the most. How is that quota that determines the level of incapacity of each and every human determined? That quota is determined by the amount of suffering right now animals and humans that are actually suffering as an indicator of upcoming death. Therefore, massive administration of painkillers and psychotropic drugs without cures, while persons continue labeling medical cases as hopeless, and keep on consuming life or torture life, creates therefore a change in the genetic material called shortening of telomeres, in which humans start to die. And this because we keep on being confronted with suffering and dying in the given area animals that exceed so-called personal quota to survive or to be mobile, we are disabled to move and disabled to pursue further ecosystems damage, which is translated in blockage of roads and being confined to cars, for instance, massive amounts of metal and articulations that are feeble, and chronic diseases such as fibromyalgia, or also many of the atherosclerotic diseases and complications of obesity. And so in the ecosystem, the more as one species called Homo sapiens we kill, the more we are being wiped out of the map, so that we spare other species because of that message of suffering animals, dying animals, it is enough. Which the result of which is, for instance, the virus COVID-19. So what is the solution from the standpoint of a consultant that arrives in a given area to COVID-19? The solution is to evaluate, first of all, what it is that mortality, which means the rate of death in a recent time, so for instance in last year, what it consists of. So a consultant such as myself or any other consultant that has multidisciplinary knowledge of economy as well as medicine, has to know what is the main cause of death for humans, animals, and everything, also plants and trees in the area. And so if we know that the main cause of death are sicknesses derived from consumption of animal products, then the intervention to prevent humans from disability, from not being able to move, so that we are not by nature disabled from killing and harming and trapping species, to have that fat deposited on our bodies and clogging our arteries, is to stop killing all these animals. So what is the solution then? The solution is to kill as a scope, not at all. Dehumanism, the essence of humanism, is that we need to realizing all of members of the universal ecosystem. Each day keep in mind that ingenuity, human ingenuity, consists of inventing ways to kill not at all, a scope of every activity to be able to self-thrive and enable others to thrive. And that includes all of the animals. That is a solution. That leads to less itemization of humans and reduction in impression that human life needs to be purchased to continue, as if money was to charge a computer with electricity. This is illusory. What it means? It means that, for instance, each and every human is part of the ecosystem. Survival camps often make for such a realization, especially long trips alone, that deer, wolf, and other animals, they do not need a permit to sit down on the grass and do not need to deserve food. They are able, using own instincts, to obtain what is needed, and all thrives from being at peace with as many species as possible. Animals need to be driven to extreme conditions to kill. None of those animals that kill, if offered food that is non-killed, will kill, which an example of is wolf, cat, or animals in a zoo that are domesticated. If we understand that, we can also start to refrain from positive characteristics profiling to present humans as inherently bad, because that is also fiction that leads to social characteristics based ostracization and asking persons to commit crimes to fit into profiling to afford meat that kills us, humans and animals alike. Stop killing. Remember, killing, others kill you.